Now, don't forget, you can listen to Good Things. We are streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from the SuperTalk Mississippi app. And, of course, we're always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And you can catch Good Things, too, on your computer or your mobile device. Just head on over to supertalktv.com. Now, today we're going to celebrate the dominating season that the Ole Miss rifle team has had. And joining us to do that is Coach Beasley, along with one of her shooters, Kristen, Derting. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
It's so good to have you. Congratulations. Coach, I'm going to start with you. We have gotten an introduction to rifling here on Good Things. One of your former shooters, or a former shooter for Ole Miss, Allie, she has been on the program a couple of years ago, but it feels like the program is just on this upward trajectory for all the right reasons. Would you say that?
Certainly. It's been really exciting to see what's happened in the last, I've been here the last 6 years. And Allie was a senior my first year, and it was wonderful to get to work with her that little bit and to watch how she's done so well, setting a world record most recently.
Yes, I agree with that. But then, too, all the other young women that are coming behind her, like you, Kristen, who are making the sport of rifling look cool, at least to me. And, I have two young girls and showing it as an opportunity to be competitive and be fierce at the same time. So, Kristen, when did you first get introduced to the sport of rifling?
I got introduced when I was in about 7th grade. Kind of going into my 8th grade year, I used to be a gymnast, and I got hurt and kind of figured out that wasn't for me. And my parents had found rifle for my brother, but the coach there said that it's actually a sport that girls usually dominate. And so they took me out, and I fell in love immediately.
So, Coach, why is this a good sport for ladies? I mean, you don't necessarily hear that, I don't think, as much as maybe we should be shouting it from the rooftops. But what makes rifle a good sport for women?
Rifle is definitely a learned skill sport and a sport where the main determinants of success have nothing to do with the things you're given genetically, like height or speed or strength. And so the folks who do well tend to be the ones who work really hard, who are very attentive to all the details that are involved in shooting well. And it's truly a gender-neutral sport. Men and women compete equally together, and NCAA rifle is a co-ed sport. Some teams are mixed teams. Ole Miss has chosen to be a women's team.
Ah, I didn't know that tidbit. Okay, that's cool. Okay, Kristen, I know your hometown is not necessarily is in Mississippi. So where's home for you?
I'm from Salem, Oregon, so the capital of Oregon.
So when you were looking for your college prospects on where to take your career to the next level, or I guess your collegiate career, what about Ole Miss was it that you're like, hey, I'm going to come to Mississippi and give this rifling team a try?
Well, other than falling in love with how beautiful the campus was, I just loved the coaches. And, Marsha is definitely my, biggest inspiration. And I think that, when I met her as a senior in high school, I knew that I wanted to be a part of her program. And then when I came out for my official, I loved seeing how many opportunities and how much resources Ole Miss gives rifle, and I knew that I wanted to go here.
So when you first got into rifle, Kristen, you mentioned was it 7th grade or 7 years old? Which one was it?
7th grade. You
were 7th grade. Did you know that you could potentially go to school on scholarship or even wind up in the Olympics? Was that taught to you or told to you about the sport?
It was mentioned a couple times that some kids, older kids in my junior club that had gone to college, that was a possibility, but I definitely didn't see myself, growing up when you're that young. You're like, oh, I'll never be that old. But, here I am, and I was happy to be a senior and get recruited by so many great colleges, and especially Ole Miss.
Coach, I feel like that's something, too, that more student athletes should know about, or I guess younger students. I'm not sure at what age you get primed and ready to be a rifle athlete. She was in the 7th grade. At what age do they normally sort of enter into the sport to make it to the collegiate level?
That's a real good question. Some people actually do get involved very young, say 10 years old, but others start in high school, even as sophomores or juniors in high school. And again, there's a lot of variation in how quickly they progress. I think the older kids actually have more motor control and are able to progress a little quicker just because they're more mature. But the end result, we have people competing in NCAA who, a variety. Some started as young as 10 or 11. Others maybe didn't start until they were sophomores or juniors in high school.
From the perspective of the program there at Ole Miss, Coach Beasley, what are you most proud of in terms of building and programs that you're getting all of these athletes from across the across the country that want to come there to compete on the Ole Miss rifle team?
I think the progression of the team has actually really helped us to get people to look at us. And I do feel like top recruits are taking a look at us, at least talking to us on the phone or when we meet them at national championships or junior Olympics. And we are on the radar more than we were 6-7 years ago.
Kristen, I think it'd be a wonderful place to come to, college and see your next steps. I know you guys as a team have broken a lot of records, at least school records this year. So brag on yourself. What have you guys been doing this last season?
This season, I know my teammate, Leah Horvath, she's from Hungary. She shot her third 600, which is a perfect score. So on the individual level, she's doing amazing as one of my teammates. And then as a team as a whole, we broke another school record, I think it was a couple weeks ago. And so that was really amazing to see, being a part of that. And, every year I feel like I come back and I'm like, it can't get better. I just feel like we've done the best, and then we always end up pushing ourselves farther, and it's great to see.
Well, the sport of rifling, as I'm learning, Kristen, is all about obviously hitting the bullseye. And you're right. It feels like it would be harder to perfect that over and over again. So, what do you do to get better? Just practice? Or is it, I can't imagine when you're so close so many times. How do you practice getting closer?
It's a lot of mental training. We do a lot of mindfulness work here, and we also try and work on the physical aspect as well. So we'll do a lot of balance training and strength and conditioning training. And then we also do cardio to try and help get our heart rates down so that when we are shooting, that's not an interference, especially if you're nervous or at a big match. Your heart rate can be a really big factor. And then, like I said, the mental side is really where it's coming from, because if you're not mentally present, and if you're not tough enough to really stick up there after shooting, like Leah did, 59 perfect 10s in a row, and then needing to shoot one more, there's a lot of pressure, and it's just really all of that training coming together.
Yeah, I'd blow it. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I probably wouldn't have the mental capacity to do it. But, hey, Coach, if someone's listening, they've got young girls in their families that they think would be, a great fit for the sport of rifling, how do you introduce them to it? How do you get them involved?
The way most kids get involved is through junior clubs. Also, the couple of websites that people could go to. The governing body for the sport is USA Shooting. So usashooting.com, I believe. It might be .org. And then the Civilian Marksmanship Program, which is a separate organization but does a lot more with youth programs. And from those two websites, you can find contacts in your area. And I know the Civilian Marksmanship Program has a state junior director in Mississippi. His name is Michael East, and he's in contact with the folks who are running programs, and he's all about promoting junior shooting.
Well, I think it's really cool. Congratulations, Coach, on a great season. Congrats, Kristen. I know you're a senior this year, but thanks for choosing Mississippi and taking time to chat with us here on Good Things. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.